Hey guys, welcome back to another recording. So today I have just a short one for you because I don't have much time. So we got Nicholas Meregali from ADCC 2014 versus Marcin Masiulewicz. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, I can't really pronounce that. So we got Nicholas versus Marcin. And so we've got, I don't know which round this was of the ADCC, but let's just get into it. Now, before we do, big thank you to everyone. 1,000 subscribers is really cool. We're into quad digits now, so that's really neat. Please, if you're enjoying the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because it makes me feel like a real YouTuber, which is pretty cool. So anyway, we're into it now. And so we've got Marcin over here versus Nicholas over there, and straight away Marcin's pulling guard, and so you can see that he's doing a good job. He's trying to pull Nicholas in and start looking to get the sweeps going, but Meregali here is doing a really good job with his feet keeping them away and backwards. It's funnily enough, this is something I've been trying to teach my students at the moment, is the distance management. And so Nicholas is playing on the peripherals of the guard, which makes it very hard for Marcin to start and get underneath, firstly. And secondly, it makes it very difficult for him to start sweeping. That sort of thing. And so Nicholas is trying to get control over the legs, but Marcin is being super active with them and it's quite annoying. And so you can see how we've got this hook in here with the hand, the underhook. This is a very, very difficult position for Meregali to play if he's not careful, because it's very likely that he's going to get inverted on. So you see already he's got the crossface in. You also notice that when he went down, he went away. So this makes it very difficult for inversions to start happening. And so as you can see, straight away the inversions start happening, but you see this disconnection. This disconnect is very, very difficult for Marcin to get in and underneath. So Meregali just pops off the top of that hook, stands up and starts pressuring in again. And now, because we're in this headquartersy type position, this knee-cut position, Meregali takes hold of the back of the head and starts wrenching Marcin's head off the floor. And now all of a sudden, a lot of everything that Marcin would want to do is being shut down, because having this head up prevents like the legs from coming up effectively, if that makes sense, because the space in the middle is being occupied by Marcin's head. And so Meregali is doing this beautiful job of playing on the peripherals and then being heavy with his hips over the hips rather than hips propped up on a spring, basically. And so this is a difficult spot for Marcin to play here. And you can see how he's still trying. He's got this lassale hook in, the no-gi version of a lassale hook. And Meregali's doing a good job with his elbow, hand on the hip, pressuring the foot on the inside. It's a very difficult position to play. So chest is coming down through the leg, the hands on the back of the neck, and so on and so forth. And so now Marcin is getting flattened out, and you can see how Meregali is doing a good job of starting to shut down Marcin's entire game, which is inversions. And so you notice that as well, just a second ago. You'll notice that Marcin, in order to actually start playing his own game, he needs to do a bench press. And I've been trying to explain to my students that making the other person do a bench press is actually progress. And so Meregali being so heavy and low, forcing a push up is really good progress in the match, because that burns a lot of juice. And so you can see how Meregali comes up. He's still got control of the hip. He needs to be a bit careful about the hook, but largely with his foot placement, this is actually very difficult for Marcin to get in and underneath. Sorry, bad drawing. And then Meregali just settles back down again, and you can see how Marcin is now hooking and threatening the inversion, so the hip's going up, and he's trying to get in underneath, but it's difficult going through that arm. Now, if Meregali is not careful, he might be in danger of an elbow lock, but it's relatively low chance here. And so he clears that outside hook really nicely, and you can see how the entire thing's just been shut down. And so we go into like a Della Riva, no-gi version of a Della Riva. Once again, Marcin is threatening an inversion, but this time to the outside. And what will happen if Meregali is not careful is this right leg will come over the top, hooking in behind the knee, this heel will be exposed, and then leg entanglements will be on the menu. You can see how Marcin went for like an inverted K guard, and then Meregali just steps out of it. No worries at all. And so playing against Marcin's type of game is very, very annoying. But again, I personally don't believe it's actually that good if the person on top knows what to do to shut it down. It was very, very nice. You can see again, like forcing a really awkward stack with just pushing the leg down. It makes inverting really, really hard, and kind of like a large part of why inversions work really well is that you end up coming off them in panic, which allows the space underneath you. But if you're doing what Meregali is doing and playing on the peripherals, and now don't get me wrong, this can go wrong for you really quickly, and you can get beaten really quickly if you're not careful. But if you have really solid pressure technique and you have some confidence, it's a little bit easier to shut down an inversion than it is to pull it off. Which is why I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of them, just because, again, I'm a fan of techniques that are easier to do than they are to defend. Very good. I don't know why Meregali is having a bitch and moan, but whatever. It's greasy. Right. Just trying to see if he's greasy. Well, here's the thing, guys. He's fucking shaved his legs. There's not that much friction on his legs. You don't actually need to grease your legs if you shave them, because it accomplishes the same thing. So let's just fucking skip. This is why no-gi should be done in spats, right? If you force the competitors to wear long sleeves and long pants, you won't have this fucking issue. Or stop fucking bitching and moaning about it if you're going to be on gear. So anyway, get into this position. We get into the wrestling. We all know Meregali's wrestling is not as good as it could be now. And very dangerous technique there. Scissor kick takedown is very nice. Marcin straight away, left leg travels in between, right leg spins back around the side, straight into a saddle entry. And you can see, like, this type of thing gives me the heebie-jeebies, because you can accidentally break someone's knee really, really quickly. But it's a beautiful entry, because now Marcin will roll back the other way, sit down, start looking for the entanglements, and you can see how that's quite tight. So Meregali does like a back step over the top, and starts to free the leg. And so now we're here into this type of position. This type of headquartersy type position. You can see how Meregali is squatting really nicely. Hips are low. Hand controlling the priority knee, pulling it backwards, and then the other hand's on the hip, forcing a bowl crunch up and off the floor. And it makes it very, very difficult for Marcin to play this and start elevating Meregali. And so it's a beautiful position, even though Marcin does have the hawk. You can see how Meregali's forcing the knee shield down, which encourages an inversion to the outside, but Meregali tries to bypass it by just pulling the leg in between his hips. Doesn't quite work, but that's okay. And so once again, we're here into this type of position where Marcin's trying to go for inversions. Meregali does a really good job of stepping out of it. So there's like a false reap here, where the leg comes over the top and then the other foot is in front of the shin. Now you get to invert up and over the top, and then you can end up in the saddle position quite nicely if you're not careful. Marcin tries it, and Meregali preemptively backsteps, which it shuts a lot of stuff down, and if he needs to, he can just escape going backwards. And very, very difficult. And so Marcin's struggling a little bit here, I think. He's struggling to get in underneath Meregali, and that was such a beautiful little leg switch here. So you can see how what's ending up happening here again is that this grip here allows the hip to travel up and over the top, and like that. what will end up happening if this is allowed is that this foot will come off to the opposite side, this foot will go in to the inside, and then we'll be in like an inverted saddle position where the hips will be up tall, one leg will be forward, one leg will be back, and then Marcin will start attacking the heel. Meregali does a really good job of transferring the leg into the opposite hand, backstepping, and then just jamming the knee in. And you can see how what ended up happening is Marcin was forced to let go of the outside heel, and Meregali can start stepping it wide. Marcin does a good job with the leg weaves, and Meregali is doing a really good job with just like little foot hops. So that foot hopped over the top, and now all of a sudden a lot of the inversions are shut down. And so it's very difficult for Marcin to play this, especially with this this hand on the hip. You can see how Meregali's leading leg is further back than the trailing leg is, and it's very difficult now to start getting in underneath the hips. Meregali just steps straight through the guard. It's a little bit difficult for this. I'm not really the biggest fan of what I just saw from Meregali. It looks like he's fucking around a little bit. Not really the biggest fan of what I just saw. I love this holding on to the leg though. So Meregali steps through the guard and starts holding onto the head to make it difficult. Marcin jams away and goes for the inversion as a defensive tool, which is what it should realistically be used for. Meregali stepping across the inside and then like sprawling. Now this type of position is quite dangerous because if Meregali loses control of the outside leg, that leg can swing and start attacking the near side knee, as we try and see. And you can see how like it is kind of happening here, but Meregali manages to get hold of the hips and shut it down. But this is more dangerous for this trailing leg than it needed to be. So Meregali gets out of it by sacrificing top position. Then he just stands up and pummels out. And so I'm not the biggest fan of that decision making, just because if that goes wrong for you, you just sacrificed A, an attack attempt, B, top position, and C, maybe front headlock attack attempts as well, for the sake of trying to style on someone. Once again into the head pummeling. Meregali will be like aware of the scissors kick takedown now. It's going to be very difficult, and Marcin seems to be wanting to go for it. Yeah, and I'm not the biggest fan of Marcin going for the scissor kick takedown. So he just gives a single leg up for free and a takedown for free because he wants to get in on that saddle position. And then exactly this happens where Meregali just pummels through. So once again, like Marcin's getting tired now. Meregali steps through the guard in all the same fashion he's been doing so far and just drops his hips down. Now all of a sudden, because the leg's looped underneath the arm, his hips are going heavy on the shoulders. Marcin's got all of the space stunted. And because he has, not much in the way of foundational basics like shrimping and escapes, he struggles because he's trying to like roll up on that leg. And then the entire thing just falls apart for him. So it looks like he's going to get his like leg or knee ripped off in short order. So Meregali's going for a classical figure four lock. Hand comes through, arm goes down onto the wrist. Other hand comes through under the loop of Marcin's elbow, and he's going to talk up and backwards, and he'll get the tap in a second. I quite enjoy the fact that he just allowed a leg into the guard, even though it's not technically the best thing to be doing, but it gives kind of like a false sense of security for Marcin, and like he can make progress, and it allows space underneath the elbow because it brings the knees away from the defense. So it's quite clever. It's allowing a little bit of progress in order to make progress of your own. So Meregali's sitting on top. Marcin looks like he's struggling a fair bit here. The grip looks like it's breaking. And Meregali, very controlled, very nicely, pulls the grip. I love what he did. It looked like he went straight into the break, but he actually pulled away before going into the break. Very controlled, very nice. and like a really beautiful submission attempt. Alrighty guys, well that's all I've got for you today. Once again, thank you so much for the 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate you all. If you would like to join the Discord, please feel free. The link is down in the description below. I look forward to hearing from you all. Thank you. Bye.